At the same time, the National Director of Public Prosecutions, Shamila Batohi, is set to testify at the Nkabinde Inquiry, which is probing Andrew Chauke's fitness to hold office. The suspended South Gauteng prosecution's boss is accused of quashing the prosecution of politically connected, individuals and making questionable prosecutorial decisions. Newzroom Afrika's Nqobile Madlala joins us live from the capital. Nqobile, it's an incredibly busy news day. Plenty of important evidence being heard, but they're all really in many ways linked to the functioning of the criminal justice system. And of course, the NPA is a key part of that machine.
Yes, indeed, Michelle. And if you look at the fact that they're detailing two cases, one being the Boysen as well as the Cato Manor case and the Richard Mdluli case, then it will tell you that those were cases that were highly looked at. And they're looking at those cases in terms of, at the end of it, that they also had to sue the government because of what had taken place. So now we are expecting to hear exactly how it was supposed to be handled, why it was handled completely different. And we know that from what we have heard yesterday, the one that was leading evidence, he did explain that there were a lot of questions around the affidavit that was brought in, the appeal that was brought in. These are some of the issues that they were concerned about. But of course, today we know that Shamila Batohi, as a person that was the one who was a complainant, as well as the person that went to the president and asked that Chauke be suspended pending the inquiry, is going to be a key witness that is going to explain more details in terms of what really happened. So I want to bring in now my guest, and of course we'll just come in that conversation to give more details.
Giving us details, elaborating more on those allegations, and basically explaining why she made the application to the president for him to establish this inquiry. So today will be one of those key days in the life of this inquiry where we'll understand more in detail why the NPA requested the inquiry.
How important is Shamila Batohi in all of this?
The NDPP is very important because she is the head of the NPA, and because she's the head of the NPA today, she will be explaining to the inquiry why the NPA saw it necessary for her to establish, to request the president to establish the inquiry. Yeah.
Thank you very much for speaking to us. So it's just the details in terms of why the NDPP is very important. And we know, Michelle, very important because she is the one that would be held accountable for such things and be questioned. How did they happen in your watch? Even though we know that all of this happened whilst there was an acting NDPP, two of them, Masana as well as Jiba, that was acting at the time. And we know that this is very important, of course, so that there is accountability in terms of those mistakes that were done in these cases, and as well as going forward, is Chauke then still fit to hold office or to go back to his position as he's still suspended?
Let's not forget, Nqobile, that it was in 2023, so 2 years ago, when the Director of Public Prosecutions, the National Director, that's Shamila Batohi, first raised the issue and made the complaint questioning Chauke's fitness to hold office.
So, Michelle, from when it all started, we understand that it started in 2022, when there were allegations that were made against Chauke, where there were allegations saying that he's protecting those that are part of state capture. There were allegations saying that he's actually not doing right by cases that were in court. Now, we'll understand that in the murder case, in the Richard Mdluli case, there was a murder that took place, and it seems there was a part where he was saying that the murder case or the murder part of it had to be sort of set aside. And it was hell-bent as well on ensuring that there's a racketeering in the Johan Boysen case and the Cato Manor case. This is despite having been found that there was no evidence. And this is why they were saying, they were bringing it forward, saying that even the magistrate or the judge at the point even said that there was no evidence, and therefore it didn't make sense that you would go for an appeal and push for such cases to continue to be in court. So these are the questionable things that were brought forward, and this is one of those things that would raise eyebrows from an NDPP to also say that this there's something going on in the office. And you'll remember Gauteng South is also very important because this is where these high-profile cases were going, and the question is how many more were not seen, but they're just focusing on just the two. And of course, the delay in making sure that the inquiry does sit was also one of those questions, but we know that a lot of people have said that it is a good thing that it's now starting, even though it's just 2 years long that this has been ongoing. But we know that the suspension actually did take place in July.
Nqobile Madlala is live to us there in Pretoria, keeping a watch on that story.